Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about Season 2, Episode 5 of HBO's The Last of Us, entitled Feel Her Love. So, I'm kind of torn on this season at this point. Fortunately for me, I'm not torn between something good or bad, I'm torn between two variations of good. But a few hours removed from the latest episode, and it's an episode that I, for what it's worth, thoroughly enjoyed watching. But I'm torn by how much of what made Season 1 special is absent from this season. But conversely, this season took an aspect of Season 1 that was lacking and is now knocking it out of the park. And I don't know which version of the show I enjoy more, but both seasons are great in very different ways. This episode slowly advanced Ellie and Dina's revenge plot, which I said I was concerned would end up being the focus of this show after Joel was killed. Like, we've gone from Jackson entirely. We don't see Gail anymore. We don't see Tommy anymore. We don't see, I forget the name of Maria, Tommy's wife. We haven't seen Abby or her group either, aside from seeing Nora in this episode. Joel is gone, so there are no more Joel and Ellie interactions. And there haven't been any episodes like, the Bill and Frank episode from Season 1 or the episode about the two brothers, Henry and Sam. At the same time, though, the expert level storytelling and high production value has taken what, no offense, has become a fairly basic show, like conceptually, and elevated it to the best possible version of this fairly basic show conceptually, making what is still a really good fucking show. But whenever anyone I know thinks of Season 1 and what made it great or what made it special, they mention like the Bill and Frank episode, not the one where, all the infected came out of the ground and whatnot. And this season has leaned far more into scenes like the infected coming out of the ground from Season 1 than it has, scenes or episodes like the Bill and Frank episode. I guess, TLDR, to put it simply, I think the show has lost a lot of its heart. But like I mentioned a moment ago, no more Ellie and Joel. We're going to need a flashback episode to even get some closure on them, since we opened the season with them beefed out and then Joel died. So we never got any closure on that. We've barely seen anyone other than Dina and Ellie lately, as opposed to the rich cast of characters and personalities that we met during Ellie and Joel's travels in Season 1. Meeting all these different characters in Season 1 along the way, it presented these new relationship dynamics, and it showcased the variety of ways in which this pandemic affected different groups of people. Spending all of this season with a smaller group of people, it just makes the world feel smaller. And to take it a step further, Ellie and Dina's relationship is the focus, but it's more difficult to buy into because it's got too many variables going on. Like, Dina was dating Jesse, then her and Ellie kiss, then she goes back to Jesse because she's not gay, Ellie is. Then she gets pregnant by Jesse, but then her and Ellie have sex, and now Ellie's gonna be a dad, and now Jesse's back. And I'm just too busy ridiculing all of this to appreciate what little heart it has, if any. And here's the thing, I know big fans of the show are probably sitting here yo, fuck's wrong with this guy, man? He's shitting on our show, and I'm not shitting on it. I understand that saying a show has lost its heart is a pretty damning statement on its face, but it's more than making up for that with insane visuals, dope concepts, and intense, thrilling, nerve-wracking action scenes. I know I sounded like I opened up sounding kind of harsh, but I love this episode. And yeah, it didn't have, the beautiful gay relationship from Season 1. But the scene in the abandoned building with the smart infected, it was fucking sick. The scene with the Seraphites killing that wolf in the forest, it was fucking sick. The scene on the B2 level of the hospital, it was fucking sick. So it all really boils down to the fact that the show is it's fundamentally different now, or at least it's focused on and cares about different things, and that's fine. Because whether it's focused on Henry and Sam or airborne cordyceps, this show's putting out a top-tier product that I thoroughly enjoy watching every week. Hey everybody, I just want to take a small break from this review to talk about the various other ways you can engage with me on other platforms. If you're so inclined, and I understand why you wouldn't, I am an acquired taste, but you can join the Patreon where you can get extra content like retro reviews, where I review old shows and movies to see if they still hold up today, Mike's Musings, where I talk about shows I'm watching that I don't cover on the channel, or Mike's VOD, where you can commission me to watch a show, which I will then review on the channel. And if you want to engage with me and chat with me more directly, I also implore you to join the Discord and follow the Facebook page. I set up channels in the Discord for all of us to discuss the shows I'm reviewing on the channel, and I also drop new videos in there, so this is the easiest platform for me to share to from my phone. The Facebook can be really fun because I sort of live comment on shows I'm watching, often while under the influence, I'm not going to lie. And I'll also share news there, both about television and film, and about myself as well. So if you like my content, you want to be more engaged, you think I'm charming, or you simply want to show support, feel free to sign up for the Patreon or join the Discord or Facebook today. Links to all platforms are in every video description. Remember to share all my shit to your respective social media platforms. And now back to this review. So this week's episode starts with a cold open in which we learn the story of the B2 level of this hospital being shut down. A WLF soldier is accused of killing her own team, and when she's asked about it, she tells the story of how she sent her best team, led by her best guy named Leon, to clear the hospital. They cleared, I think she said like 1 through 4, no issues. So they're like, let's hit the basement. They cleared B1, no issue. So she sends them down to B2, and within moments, she's informed that the virus was now airborne. A decision was made to seal off that floor and the team, the team inside with it, sacrificing the individuals inside to save the greater population. And the individual versus the whole is a theme that comes into play often, not just on this show in general, but in this episode. But it's then revealed that the team's leader, Leon, is the son of the woman telling the story. And the story's relevance will become clear later, but aside from how it connects to our main characters, it was just a chilling story to listen to start the episode. It was just a great scene, the first of several in this episode. So after the opening theme, we learn it's day 2 in Seattle, and Dina is trying to figure out a way to get to the hospital to go after Abby. And she's charted a path through the WLF defenses that goes through an abandoned building that they assume is abandoned because it's teeming with infected. But they convince themselves that they'll be able to handle whatever's in there, and they head out on their way. But before they leave, though, the show almost pissed me off by trying to run back Ellie sings and plays the guitar again. Like I legit sat up in my seat like, no, you can't do this again the very next week. Like, that scene worked last week due in large part to just the surprise of seeing Bella Ramsey playing the guitar and singing a song from the 80s, especially somebody that young. But now that we've seen it, you can't run it back the next week and expect it to have even 10% of the impact. So I'm like, no, don't do this shit again. Like it worked last week really well. It worked. It's the complete opposite. You do it again the next week. It doesn't work at all. But fortunately, they cut it short. And I still kind of don't even see the purpose in even starting to run back. Ellie finds guitars and then plays and sings with one. Like, I don't see the point to even starting to run that back again this week. But whatever. Let's see. On the way to the hospital, Ellie and Dina pass a group of slaughtered Seraphites under a mural, and it has the episode title written in blood above them. It says, "Feel Her Love." And Ellie, Ellie's like, you know what? Maybe we should go back. Like, what? Maybe I don't need revenge after all. Like, after all the shit you've been through and everything you did just to even go in the first place, now you ready to turn around? You see a couple of tortured bodies leaning up against the wall with threats written in blood. You're just like, oh, no, I'm out. Like, I don't understand why she wouldn't turn around so quick. But this prompts Dina to tell the story of finding her own murdered family and killing the raider responsible. And she asked if it would have mattered if her family had done something to harm, the raiders first. And we understand that it wouldn't have mattered. She was getting revenge regardless. And this idea of like, where does the cycle of violence end is a big theme this season. And I've talked about it before. Like, and you see it very clearly in this episode when you look at Dina and Ellie. Dina told her story about what she did to that raider and how it wouldn't have mattered if her family had committed the first atrocity. Then at the end of the episode, we think that Ellie is about to learn what Joel did in the season 1 finale. But after Nora tells her, she says she already knew about it anyway and proceeds to go through with bludgeoning Nora. So we come away with 2 things here. One, just like Dina, Ellie doesn't care what her loved one might have done to deserve or not deserve their fate. Joel going, she feel a way about it. Revenge is revenge. It is what it is. Same thing Dina did. Secondly, I also think we're to assume that this might be what caused the rift between Ellie and Joel. I proposed that in my video for episode 1. I think we all thought that, but I think this is kind of confirmation maybe. Like maybe at some point during the 5-year time jump, he confessed to what he'd done, out of love and respect for her. And their beef was over her being mad at him for doing the opposite of what Leon from the cold open did. That's why in the first 2 episodes we saw, probably why we saw Ellie get pissed anytime Joel tried to protect her, because she relates it all to him protecting her at the expense of everyone else. Like Leon sacrificed the individual, himself and his team. Yes, I know that that's not one person, but comparatively speaking, he sacrificed the individual to save the population as a whole. Joel sacrificed the population to save the individual. And that's the difference right there. And I think that's probably what caused the rift between Joel and Ellie that we didn't see. But back to our adventure. Ellie and Dina make it to the abandoned building, and we're treated to a great scene where we slowly and frighteningly come to realize that they're surrounded by the smart version of the zombies. Ellie proposes that she distract the zombies since she's immune so that Dina can escape, but that plan fails miserably. And just as it looks like they're both about to be killed, side note, I really liked when she sent Dina into that chain-linked area behind that gate, and then the zombie started pulling the fucking chain link off. That was fucking sweet. Like, you're like, oh shit. I thought Dina was safe. They both about to die. But like I said, they're both about to be killed. But then Jesse arrives and saves them. The WLF is alerted to their presence because of the shots being fired. And they chase Jesse, Dina, and Ellie to the woods before pulling up and letting them go. And we learned that Jesse came with Tommy, and we don't see Tommy, but it's not much longer before we learn that why the WLF didn't follow them into the woods. They come across a group of Seraphites who are killing a WLF member by splitting him open long ways and relieving him of his insides. You weren't doing anything with those. Big fan of over-the-top violence over here. So yeah, that scene really worked for me. I loved seeing him put that like the thing that fucking Grim Reaper carries, a scythe or whatever. Put that shit to this guy's stomach and fucking oh man, look, big props for me on the violence there. But they're discovered, and Dina takes an arrow to the leg before they split up again. And this is very interestingly the last that we see of Dina and Jesse in the episode. It looks like we'll get a flashback episode next week, so potentially to this could potentially allow them to sit on what happened with Jesse and Dina for what will be 2 weeks by the time we get, to the next episode after the next one. It feels like a sign that when we return to them, it's probably going to be some pretty good stuff. Well, this is episode 5. So yeah, episode 7. So probably be pretty good. Ellie makes it to the hospital and comes across Nora, which leads to the confrontation that I spoke about earlier. The visuals on the B2 level were absolutely insane. I mean, the walls, the spores in the air, the people blending in and melding with the walls, including presumably Leon from the cold open we see there. It was incredible. Like the red lighting as Ellie goes nuts on Nora. It was really exhilarating, edge of your seat stuff. And Nora gave no info on Abby's location either, so Ellie didn't even get anything out of that confrontation other than the sweet satisfaction of bludgeoning one of the individuals responsible for Joel's death. So yeah, like I said, it's just a different show now. Like, it doesn't feature as much heart or as many moving moments in a world that normally wouldn't feature anything like that, which is what made this show special. You're watching a zombie show, a apocalyptic fucking show, and you get move moments like that. You don't get that too often. But the show that it is now, the work it's doing now, it's still top of the line stuff. Like, I'm still thoroughly enjoying the season, and aside from that one slow episode after Joel's death, I've really been enjoying it, man. I feel like it's been great. I'm really having a good time watching it. I still think it's top tier shit. It's just top tier in a different way. But let me know what you thought in the comments, and until next week, peace.